Continuing with the winner bracket in the playoffs of the Underdog Cup, everybody. We're now down to the final 6 teams in the tournament after we started with 16 teams in total. So right now we got the KD Agents in blue going up against the Fighters. And this should be a pretty fun one. This should be a good series. Now, since we are down to the final 6 teams, obviously they're also a lot closer in skill here at this point. These are the best teams from all those that signed up after they were able to make their way through the group stage. Underdog Pass, our first map, is a best of 5 series, and of course we have, as usual, a draft rule that every single hero can only be played once, meaning that any hero that you see played here can not be played again in any of the upcoming maps in a series. This is going to have an impact if we're making it to game number 4, game number 5. But let's see what the teams are able to pull off here. The Fighters are pretty darn strong. This is a really powerful team, and you should honestly recognize a couple of the team or the player names there from top tier tournaments where we have the big prize pool as well. Now this one is organized by Heroes Lounge and myself, and as I said before, it's kind of dedicated to the amateur scene, so the idea is to put a spotlight on teams that you would normally not see in a big prize money tournament. So all of the leagues, all of the divisions within Heroes Lounge are eligible with the exception of Division 1. But you still have a lot of top names, as you can see on the red team side, playing in Division 2 here, where they, for example, you know, band together with a couple of friends that they have. They might not play Heroes all that often, are a little bit on a lower level, and don't want to sign up for or form a team for like a big prize money tournament, but they are signing up here. There is some prize money on the line. I put it up myself for this. Again, if you want to support efforts like this, not only hosting something like the Underdog Cup, but also the Murky Cup that we just had and other events. If you want to support the Heroes of the Storm esports scene and everything that we are currently throwing in here to try and support this, again, you can do so at patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the description. Big shout out to everybody that's already doing that. Makes it much easier. People are oftentimes asking what's the best way to support this. This is probably it, simply because it makes things a little bit more easier to plan just on a regular basis from like month to month. So here also big shout out to Heroes Lounge, since this is all organized with them. If you haven't checked them out yet, I would highly recommend that you do so. There's also a link in the description where you can have a look. They are an European based amateur scene and league, but you can also play if you're from NA, for example, but you have obviously to play cross server. It doesn't cost anything to sign up. You can sign up as a team, you can sign up as an individual player, doesn't really matter, but at the end of the day, it's all about playing with like-minded people that like to, you know, just brainstorm a little bit about team compositions, that like to theorize about what can you do, draft, hey, what can we do here, train together a little bit, just try to get better together, and don't have to rely on the matchmaking that exists in the client itself. So if you haven't checked them out yet, I highly recommend it. Again, the website is heroeslounge.gg. And they have a really nice Discord, so if there's any questions, just join there and just ask, and they'll help you. In our first game of the best of 5, we got Sylvanas and we got Jojo for the KD Agents. Now that we're going into Underdog Pass, Chromie and Lucio kicked us off for the Fighters. A little bit curious what they're gonna pair with it on the the Illidan ban. I like it. Illidan gets banned, and so did Zeratul. I didn't expect Illidan to be picked in game number 1. I'm not quite sure if they would have actually done it. But that Illidan gets banned, that the KD Agents have so much respect for their Illidan performance is kind of funny to me. Would have been kind of cool to see him here, though. Not gonna lie. So we get ETC for the front line, and Sonya. Old school. I wasn't quite sure what to expect. Lucio, honestly, I thought maybe they can go for something completely different here. Try and out-rotate the opponent a bit. I would still I mean, we could still see something like Greyman as the final pick here, I guess. But for now, we need some additional damage. And also the side laner is able to deal with Sonya for the KD Agents. Kind of want to start this one off with a win, of course. And take the lead here. And we get D.Va and we get Hanzo. Alright. D.Va plus Johanna. D.Va for the no-scope ninja over here. Still one of the best nicknames in the game. We have a couple of really cool nicknames in the tournament already. But it leaves us with the final choice for Outright Pass. Again, we are in the playoffs, we are in the winner bracket. We have the fighters going up against the KD agents. And our last pick needs to be a little bit of damage. It is Genji. With that, we're heading straight into the first map of the best of 5. The blue team on the left on our first map, Outright Pass, with Simply on Johanna. We got Kani on Hanzo. Aviator on Sylvanas, No Scope Ninja with Diva, and McGiblets is playing Rega. To the right side of the map, the opponents. We got the fighters with Itrax on Chromie, Al Dante on Lucio. Machko is playing ETC. We got Akunis on Genji, and Shikish is playing Sonya. So, stage is set. Level 1, we get Proc Rock, by the way. And now the opportunity to take the lead for your team in this best of 5. Now, there is a loser's bracket, obviously. I think I talked about it already. But if you lose out on the winner bracket match, you still have a chance to make that run through the lower bracket. Teams would obviously love to avoid that. And since we have only 4 teams in the winner bracket, if you take it here, you're automatically in the winner bracket final. So that's a big opportunity to get towards that grand final very, very quickly. But let's see first which team is able to move on from this second semifinal. Now, down at the bottom of the map, Diva already in position, doing their thing. Okay. And Lucio is just rushing from lane to lane right now. Sylvanas, of course, on a big map, can always be a thorn in your side. If she is able to rotate a little bit onto lanes that are not being protected properly, then she will get the damage in with her just taking a couple of side lanes out. We've seen it in the past a lot, and yeah, we'll see it again whenever she has a chance. But either way, down at the bottom left, we now have the next camp about to be claimed. Everybody is obviously aiming on... it's one of the most important camps that you have on the map. Bosses are, of course, a little bit more impactful, but generally speaking, that camp packs a punch. So if you can take it, you definitely should, and the more reliable you are around it, the better. So they come in, they take the camp, and by now we have the push in the mid lane with the help of Sylvanas, because the red team was just a little bit too late on this. So they are taking damage on the wall already. So, yeah, that's the wall destroyed. That's actually a lot of damage that we're able to do with that one tower down, and I guess the gate is about to fall too. So, as far as early game pressure goes, the KD agents with some really nice effort in the mid lane. It doesn't win them the game or anything, but this helps. Puts them also in a spot, of course, where they have a little bit of vision whenever the opponent tries to retreat towards the fountain. So, not too bad. Diva with a rush down, and we now got also Subdue for Johanna as the chronic conditions for Chromie. You could argue that Chromie herself is a chronic condition. She's certainly about as annoying and is very difficult to shake. So I think that is an aptly named talent that describes the hero in its entirety completely. So, yeah. Oh, shut up. But she's firing away from a distance, and they're opening the sidewall up a bit at the top. We see a lot of rotations coming in, and the blue team is extremely diligent around their camp. They're grabbing it again. So they have that already lined up as Sonya is making her way over, and this time she actually gets a bit of an assist from Chromie too. Down at the bottom of the map in the meantime though, we have Machko still defending this. Objective is up, but nobody's making a play for it yet. Usually that happens around, yeah, well, at the earliest level 7. Before that, you normally don't really see anything big happening here. Possession, by the way, for Sylvanas. And yeah, off we go. Level 7 kicks in, and the blue team is again getting aggressive in the middle of the map and is now trying to start taking down the hit points on the fort itself. I like it. A little bit of early game pressure, take some structures out, try to prep this, soften it up a little bit for when you are able to claim the objective itself. Genji now with the augmented guard on level 7, and battle rage for Sonya with level 7 on the board. I mean, we haven't seen a kill yet, but level 7 is now ready. And the teams are slowly starting to make a play for the structures here, or for the objective at least. So, objective is gonna get slowly attacked here. Or at least they're trying. I mean, they're setting up around it a little bit. They haven't fully committed to anything yet. But that could, of course, happen sooner rather than later. They're getting a little bit ballsy on this. It's still at mid-level, that mid-lane play. At the top, we have seen the opponent make a little bit of a move and try to go for fort as well. They took the wall out, but you don't have Sylvanas. The Sylvanas factor is pretty big in these situations. And this mid lane fort is now taking damage as they're trying to defend. At the same time, we have Kani getting attacked, so 5 minutes in, not a single kill yet. Yeah, everybody is super focused on not making a big mistake that would maybe cost them the early game and make them fall behind. So Chromie is now again assisting as they're going for the camp. Sonya isn't even here yet, but over on the left side with Rhaegar and with Hanzo, they can just burn this down super quickly. So that's exactly what they're doing. Temporal loop for Chromie. And both of the teams will soon get level 10 abilities. I like how cautious they are, though. I mean, this is the playoffs, and you are fairly close to the grand final. So this is a pretty important one. Nobody wants to end up getting all of us, you know, like overextending a little bit and then getting ganked and starting to, yeah, have some problems and maybe lose the game. So now we have level 10 abilities that give us the arrow for Hanzo. Yeah, follow-up stun potentially from Johanna. But that arrow goes nowhere. That arrow, caught by the arrow cam, hits a mountain. They also used the follow-up from Sylvanas with the Wailing Arrow, but that didn't do a whole lot either. Connected a little bit better. Weren't just able to do anything with it. Stage dive plus Sonya with leap. I mean, technically you could go later on for the Arid Crater and then go Arid Crater first and then stage dive, but that was nicely played here too. Good heal, good self-heal, but McGiblets is not out of it yet. Gets still attacked here and is able to turn it on Genji with the team. Nice engage initially by the fighters, and then the fight turns on them and they lose Genji. And then ETC gets Hanzo'd. Hanzo gets ETC. Some beef for the barbecue later on. So, yeah. Here's the... Oh, are they going to get another kill? Seems like it. This is actually getting a bit worrisome. The KD agents are playing this extremely well and are starting to get big damage out. That's 3 heroes down. And likely an objective. Plus the camp. That escalated quickly. And Sylvanas is also pushing. So we have Chromie destroyed last. But all in all, that was a bit disastrous. Yeah, I liked the engage initially. I mean, I seriously did. EDC with a nice stage dive, gets the power slide through. If they can focus maybe a little bit more on Rhaegar in that situation, and he doesn't get the Ancestral connected, then he dies and it's a completely different ballgame. But the blue team capitalized insanely well on that kill. They got a follow-up kill on ETC, they killed Chromie, they got the objective, took their camp, and have already set Sylvanas up at the bottom of the map to get some additional damage. So now they find themselves in a spot where they not only take the lead in experience, but they can still capitalize on the objective and the cavalry that's in here. And it should eliminate, at a minimum, 1 fort. Kinda likely that they're gonna get a little bit more out of this too. D.Va is sitting at the top and the team is now starting to come in to help out here. Yeah. Bot lane's defended. Wailing Arrow! And Hanzo misses the next one. Hanzo is currently saving the good arrows for next game. Clearly. ETC says hello. Gets instantly met by a Blessed Shield. And they go for Lucio and take him down too. What is happening here? The KD agents just flipped the on switch, didn't they? I mean, seriously, they just flipped the on switch. 5 kills to 0, and with the first objective, 2 forts are destroyed. And let's not kid ourselves. If they now rotate down to the bot lane, they're gonna get the last fort too. So, yeah. Big plays. Huge plays here. By the way, I can totally understand that Hanzo is not able to connect these arrows. If I would ride the pleb horse, my ass would also be sore because this is just not a good ride. This is not a lot of fun. And you know, if then you're all of a sudden on the ground and you're trying to walk around, get into a good position so that you can connect your arrow, and your ass hurts the entire time because the saddle was just so uncomfortable, then that's not a good feeling. So stuff then just happens. That's why you have to take a proper mount. You have to take the money pick, you have to go on the doubloon. I mean, there's a couple of things that you could do that makes you feel so much better and fresher when you're going into these fights that it's much easier to execute these plays. Comfort is important. So, Hanzo, again, don't go for the pleb horse. Like, it's not a thing. You're gonna have a sore butt, and we see what happens. You haven't connected a single arrow yet. That's not a good look. Each team taking their boss. But the leading experience, I mean, there's a 2-level lead in ETC. More meat for the grill. And you start talking about grills, because at this point I'm actually getting hungry. I want the burger. Somebody give me a burger. Okay, so 6 kills to 0. Not a single kill yet for the fighters, which blows my mind. Guys, look at the players that we have on that team. Objective is up, they want that keep, and it certainly looks like they're gonna get it. ETC is back in a second. Well, maybe they're not quite getting it. They got it to 50%. But we got 16 talents now. And yeah, with 16 talents, they have the full synergy. Actually, no, they don't have the full synergy for Rhaegar's totem build, because they didn't go for the totem build. They still have the Earthgrass totem though. Alright. I just looked over to the 16 talent and I was like, alright, yeah, they get the final one too. And I was like, wait a second. That's not what they're actually going for. Yeah, the fighters are about to hit their own level 16. And, well, it's all about the next objective, apparently. At least from the looks of it. Vieira's already trying the channel here. Couldn't make it happen so far. Damage output, Chromie, 21,000, 29,000 for Sylvanas, and they go for it. They might get a kill. Arrow connects, nice. They get the double kill. Condemn into Hanzo Arrow. And then the easy kill against Genji and Sonya. That guarantees the objective, and it might actually help them to already take the keep out with the help of Sylvanas before they even going into this. Jojo totally fine. Has to sacrifice her trade cooldown, and that's basically all. But they got the camp here, they're pushing for this, and they're getting big damage in. And the objective, if they're not taking it now, the objective will claim it 100%. So, yep. That's the first armor shield gone. And I have to stress this again. The red team hasn't killed a single hero yet. Not a single hero. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. 8 kills to 0, 1.5 level lead. If you would have asked me at the beginning of the game, who do you think is the favorite here, I would have said the red team. With the names on that lineup, that experience, KDHs have always been strong, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, did not expect them to be this dominant in game number 1 of the best of 5. So, yeah, with that, bot lane gets defended fairly quickly. But we get D.Va already in position at the top lane. And they are still pushing at the bottom of the map. And with Sylvanas, there's a constant stutter, of course. Again, not really worried too much about Chromie here. So there's the next. And that is some damage on the keep at the top. But they are sieging up at the bottom of the map with the help of Sylvanas, as they should. Now they're moving in again. They want to damage this keep too. The defense of the red team has started to focus towards the top lane. I don't know if they can take another keep out, but they can certainly damage both of the remaining ones. Not by a lot. But yeah. I am waiting for the dam to break here. I'm really waiting for the fighters to get a moment where they can start claiming momentum. The problem is they are up against level 20 in a second. And the KD agents have been playing this extremely well. I mean, kudos to the blue team. Some fantastic games and fights. So by now we have the Ancestral upgraded. Boss up in 11 seconds. Top side, this one of course as well. But they are hoping to push to the bottom of the map. And the red team, they realize, okay, let's go towards the top. They have full envision, so of course the KD agents know what's happening, but they're not moving towards the top. Each team is going to take a boss now, and then we're going to see the KD agents push with the boss for the keep at the bottom of the map. And they're going to get that keep. And maybe more. Because this is the second armor shield that gets removed from the core. So if that boss survives the push for the keep itself, you have a shot at ending the game. And they're already getting a lot more damage in before the boss is even here, just with the Sylvanas. And look at this. This is basically gone. Yeah, Ancestral is out. They're playing the safe. Jojo was a bit low, but now the keep is gone. Guys, this could be game. This could very well be game. Hanzo arrow, double kill. Get murdered by D.Va. She hops in, gets the kills. 10 kills to 0. And that is game. That's game right there. The KD agents with a 1-0 lead in the best of 5 series in the winner bracket semi-final of the Underdog Cup playoffs. Nicely done, well played, a well-deserved victory and an absolute stellar performance in game number 1. GG. We're going to head in game number 2 in a second. Guys, if you enjoy the content, if you like the coverage here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video. It really helps to spread the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past and might rejoin the game. So spread the love a little bit, help to promote the games here, like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of the series. The KD agents with quite the performance in game number 1, I gotta say. Now we have first pick, first ban for the fighters, but blue team crushed it. Like, that was insanely solid. I was honestly a little bit surprised of how clean they played. Now, my biggest question immediately is if they can keep that performance up here. Personally, I would say that we're gonna have a closer series than that, and that the fighters just got caught off guard a little bit. But respect to the KD agents. And they keep banning Illidan. So they really don't want to deal with the Illidan performance of the red team. Fair enough. Again, teams have done a lot of research against each other, obviously. And not only here, but a lot of them also faced each other, of course, in the regular league schedule. So if you know that an opponent has a strong pick that you don't want them to play in the series at all, and you just go and continue those bans. And Illidan seems to be something they're trying to get rid of. Not quite sure if I'm absolutely on board with the Gal ban here, though, because Illidan is kind of fun and I would have liked to see them show Gal the same, so it seems like the KD agents are starting to ban all of the fun out. It's not a yellow card yet, but we might have to drop a card on them at some point if they continue this, because I'm not so sure here. Dehaka is an early pick, we get Brightwing on the other side. So now it turns out that the team is also a Brightwing picker team. That's another strike against them. Fast draft this time, by the way. So, Hogger taken. And we got then Diablo on the other side, with this guy being Garden of Terror. And double global. Okay! So we got Dehaka and Falstad. Double global on Garden of Terror. Big map. Hogger, great for the camps. But Dehaka and Falstad are going to be great to take control of those lanes. And Brightwing, again, is not able to match up against any of those two. Just not a thing. So, okay. Let's see how well they can play this with the 2 globals. And what else they're gonna pick. But this is already a nice one. But okay, so, final ban for our second map in the best of 5 series. I mean, they already banned 2 tanks out. Now that you have picked Diablo, you might as well ban a 3rd, and that's what they do, so they get rid of Muradin. Varian is up if you want him, of course. I mean, there's a couple more, but you could go Varian here. Brightwing as a follow-up with the Poly. Play around CC a little bit. Need to lock in additional damage that can jump on a single target. So let's see. But I need range damage. Greymane and Imperius. Now Imperius can obviously be played as a main tank too. Usually if you do that these days, it's with a triple front line. So we still need No Scope Ninja, and he played D.Va on the last map. Preference picks are obviously a thing, and this is not always the same role, but now we get Mephisto and we get Alexstrasza for extra damage on the side of the fighters, okay? So Alexstrasza plus Diablo, double global for them to control the side lanes, and very likely a triple front line now for the KD agents for the blue team. They've taken the lead in the best of 5 series. Now the question if they can extend it with Garden of Terror. I mean, it's their map choice. Red team took first pick, first ban. And the blue team decided they want to play this one on Garden of Terror, where they now go up against double global. And the final choice is Stitches. There's our main tank. Alright, Liz, let's go. Garden of Terror, second map in the best of 5. After a stellar performance in game number 1, the blue team is in the lead in the series. We have Simply on Imperius. Kani is playing Hogger. We got McGiblets on Brightwing, Aviator on Greymane, and the No Scope Ninja on main tank Stitches this time. As on the right side, the red team obviously really determined to try and bring this back. I mean, first of all, they need to redeem themselves a little bit for game number 1, but also you really want to start to get a point onto the board in the series here. We have Itrax on Mephisto, Machko is playing Diablo, Akunis on Falstad. We got Shikish on Dehaka and Al Dante on Alexstrasza. So, I mean, we got the right talents. The problem is we got the heroes on the wrong side. Alexstrasza is going on level 1 into a Circle of Life. And then we got Hungry for more for Stitches. But yeah, opposite sides. So not quite what we were looking for here. But yeah, whatever. The double global makes this interesting. Can they play around the opponent and really leverage Falstad plus Dehaka throughout the game? Would be cool to see if they can pull that off. So far, obviously, not quite sure that this is actually what we're going to get here. But, well, there's an opportunity to prove that. The other question is, of course, are they going to try to do that in the first place? If they just use these globals in order to control the side lane a little bit and just make, well, get ahead in experience a bit, for example, and just use that, that's also totally fine. Greymane and Hogger are going to be fantastic for the camps, by the way. I mean, both of them are really, really good locking them in quickly. So you have 2 heroes that can essentially take camps on your own side, but might also be used to steal a few away on your opponent's side. And Hogger is already pogging around down here. We're having in the middle a bit of action as well, as they're jumping in on Falstad. Nice! Diablo with the reaction trying to protect the birdie. And this takes a hot minute. Yeah, we're getting the rest of them in. But while they take 1 camp, the opponent has now taken 2. So they are pulling ahead on mercenary camps a little bit. And we might see them try and steal one away from the red team. But for now, aggression against, well, Greymane. Brightwing came in with a heal. Not really a problem. Hogger slowly moving towards the next camp as we have the first C spawning. Game number 1, it took a little bit of time. The game flipped at some point, and the KD agents in one of the fights, I think it was around level 10, maybe just before, they really just turned it on. They just flipped the switch and the game started a completely different dynamic from there on out. This time we have a few more skirmishes in the early game, still not a kill at the 3-minute mark, but it is a bit more aggressive as the teams are looking to create some opportunities where they can maybe get the first kill. There are some globes together, of course, too, with Stitches trying to boost the sit point pool a little bit more. Diablo also a bit low here. Here came out Dehaka, able to get the lick, but then they move in on Machko and take him down. The spear on Falstad, and that's the follow-up kill. Was a close call towards the end, but they are still able to get the kill. So nicely done. Double kill for the KD agents. And I gotta say, that was good. Diablo gets killed first. Falstad flies away, the follow-up after the hook. And yeah, then they are able to drop the birdie. So that is now 2 heroes eliminated on the red team side. And a nice little start here for the KD agents. Bit ahead in experience. They take the first seat, of course, on the left side. And can they invade this a little bit further? Probably not. No Scope Ninja could try and hit a hook here. They see the camp being taken. Yep. And they're saying hello. They're saying hello on Mephisto, who gets the heal right away. And Alexstrasza pops the Dragon Queen. So now all of a sudden the blue team is in trouble. Maybe they were too overconfident here. They're losing Greymane. They thought they could just simply move in here as is. And, well, they just learned the lesson. Because that's Greymane and Imperius both gone. And that was a quick setup, a setback that now put them pretty much even. So, yeah, not too bad. Looking good here. I mean, the idea itself is not bad. If you can surprise your opponent, that's great. But there were 3 heroes on that camp, and all that they had to rotate in was 2 more to make this an easy 5 versus 5. This is the best Falstad skin, by the way. It's the only Falstad skin. At least the one where you just want to taunt the opponent the entire time, because it's just funny as hell. One of the best things that they introduced back then. Hook, and, well, no Gorge. Not yet. A little bit too early. But that's the easiest hook target that you can get. And now Al Dante with the channel. So we got 1 seed on each side. Quest also completed for Stitches, for Diablo for now. I still don't like this skin, by the way. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of people that like these plushie skins. I think they're just absolutely horrible. We have Psycho Stitches. We have Chef Stitches. We have Bikini Stitches. Why would you ever go for this ugly skin? This skin is ugly in the selection screen and it is ugly in the game. It's just bleh. Same as Brightwing. Brightwing is also bleh and got killed because of that. It offended Mephisto's fashion sense, and so he went in and just took down Brightwing, and I applaud that. I think Mephisto, you know, he comes in as a sharp dresser. He sees something like Brightwing and is like, what are these insects doing here? What is this? This is disgusting. So let's just get the fly swatter and take it out, and that's exactly what he did. A man of action. And they come in and kill Imperius too. So all of a sudden it's the red team that is looking way better here. The birdie's flying back out. And where's the ugly skin again? There it is. Yeah. Gets the hook. And gets the fountain. The rumor has it, honestly, that you're having more damage and more hit points when you play Chef Stitches. It's one of those things, you know, that you just hear and like it just doesn't die. It's a rumor that just doesn't die. And where there's smoke, there's usually fire. So, yeah, something has to be happening there. So I would highly recommend that you pick some of these skins and not this one. I've never heard anything positive about this one. Allegedly, you have less hit points, and you look also a lot less sexy when you play this. But yeah, horrible skin. Anyways. So, next seed is up. This will be the second one for whoever takes it, but a little bit of damage has been done at the bottom wall. They go for Diablo. Gorge. Yeah, that's not how you wanted that gust to work out. Thank you very much, Falstad. I'm not sure if they get the kill, but that was perfect. That was absolutely perfect, just not for the red team. Falstad, for his troubles, gets now hooked too. They killed Alexstrasza as well, and yeah, they can't kill Falstad, but they are going for Alexstrasza, no, for Mephisto now. And they're definitely going to kill him. So, yeah, that is 3 heroes dead. The Haga gets some value. But look at this gust. Here comes the Gorge. The gust timing was just too bad. Oh, God. Falstad goes, oops. Diablo is just sitting there like, dude, what the fuck? Oh. If I'm Diablo, I feel trolled. But yeah, that's one way how you can make an isolation play. Now, 13 versus 13. The fort at the bottom of the map has now fallen. The blue team has taken the lead again in kills. They also have with level 13 the extended hook range, which is of course pretty neat too. But that last interaction was just too damn good. Yeah, somebody needs to check out the PayPal account of Falstad because I have a feeling that he's been paid off. Clearly. Clearly paid off. So, well, next camp is about to be claimed here. Going for the Siege Giants. But we have now 2 seeds to 1 in favor of the KD Agents, and that next seed position is great for them. It's absolutely fantastic. So that's definitely a good one to try and take. 27,000 damage from Mephisto. We got 9. Oh, there's the Gorge! And can they get him over the wall? Can he fly away? Apoc! And the Shockwave! The follow-up from Brightwing and Falstad is history. Nicely done. They actually are able to go for Mephisto. Mephisto's low, gets the heals. Yeah, Alexstrasza has to work overtime in order to keep everybody alive. But Diablo might not even make it. Nope. He gets destroyed. He's gone. Nice lick against Hogger though. And there's the counter kill. Yeah, I was for a second thinking maybe Stitches can come in with a helping hand, but nope. So, it's still a 2-for-1 trade in favor of the KD Agents, and they can now go for the Garden Terrors. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they don't. They have their heroes here, so Falstad flies back. I'm not sure if they would have had the time to do it, but they could have tried. Decided against it apparently, and now we're having the same situation again, as it's a 5 versus 5 on the map in 5 more seconds. But they could make the play for that seed, and that would be Garden Terrors. But they want to have level 16 first before they're making any bigger moves. Stitches, without the Alexstrasza support, is at 17 stacks on his level 1. So that means he's closing in on 500 extra hit points. And on the, in total, 10% extra movement speed that he's gonna get. But they're 16, and they're still not making a play for that seed. They have to defend the top lane first. Hoga's already playing around this. Stitches looking for another hook, and gets dodged. Of course. So, with them just playing around here, and 16 just now being ready for the fighters as well, this would be an even battle for that seed. Alexstrasza has now also overprotected, by the way. Went into the Dragon Scales. Diablo comes in. They're trying to make a play for Simply now. Here comes the hook, the Gorge, as they're going for Mephisto. The backline is getting attacked as well, but Mephisto is starting to move back out of this one. Imperius is rushing away. Greymane is there. They're trying to go for Atrax. He's low, but he's still alive. He's low but alive, and Imperius wants to come in another hook, this time against Dehaka. They're all rushing away here. The no-scope ninja up at the front, but they're eating the damage in the choke point. And the channel now from Al Dante, who might get interrupted. Yep. Big wave, by the way, at the bottom of the map. They could play a role here, depending on how long this lasts. They go again for Mephisto. There's the stun, the hit, the kill. He's gone. Mephisto gone. They go for Dehaka. They try to get the globals here. Stitches has another hook ready in a second and lands it on Dehaka, who they turn on immediately. Where's that stun when you need it? Well, there's the kill. And they have the Garden Terrors too. And especially the bot lane needs some assistance quickly. So this is horrible for the fighters. They have only 3 heroes available right now. A lot of the damage dealers and the wave clear boys are gone, which means that they're going to have a tough time defending this. And they have to spread themselves out super thin here. It's 9 kills to 5 in total. And here comes the aggression as they're looking for more kills. The Garden Terrors are already doing big damage. Bot lane, this wall is about to be opened up. Top lane Ford is going to fall 100%. And they're pushing for this. The entire team is coming in. Dehaka isn't here yet. Another 10 seconds. They get pulverized out again for a little bit of a slow. Here comes the ult from Mephisto against Stitches. He's totally fine. And they save the keep. At least for now. Greymane. Yeah, the wall's done. Another hook. Gorge. And they go for Mephisto again. Yeah, Shockwave. And gone. The timing perfect on that Hogger ult. Simply though, he gets licked and killed, so that's the end of Imperius. But the fort at the top lane has fallen to the big play here, and the one in the middle is taking a little bit of damage. So all in all, one fort destroyed, map control gained, a little bit of damage done at the bottom of the map too. Not much more than that. So was it worth it? the Garden Terrors. I mean, I guess. Structurally, they're now pulling farther ahead and they have lots more map control. 61,000 damage from Mephisto. And 53,000 from Greymane. They can go for the next few camps. The leading experience is currently at around half a level. So, still a lot that you can do with this. Hashtag ausbaufähig. But, yeah. Time will tell how much further they can go here. I mean, right now, it's really the attack at the top lane, more so than anything else. Getting a few more camps in, you know, send them on the way. Make sure that you have a little bit more pressure against the opponent. Stitches, where's he actually sitting in his stacks? He's at 25 now. And gets the long distance hook against Diablo. And gets him just in range of the towers. And they burn much go down. That's all of his soul stacks gone. Nice. Another hook. This time against the Haka. Imperious with a big connect. And before Diablo is back, they're losing Mephisto. They lose Alexstrasza. 13 kills to 6 now. The KD agents are absolutely spanking them here. It's getting a bit crazy. Game number 1 was so incredibly clean. Game 2, the fighters definitely battling it out a lot harder. Really putting in like a proper resistance. But now we have level 20 and the KD agents have again taken full control of this game. It's mega impressive. The keep at the bottom of the map falls. There's still 2 heroes missing. This time the hook doesn't connect. But I wouldn't be surprised at all if it did. So now the fort in the middle is gone. The keep at the bottom is gone. They get another seed. 1 level before your opponent has 20. Stitches, 30 stacks. Again, it's not crazy. 750 extra hit points, 10% movement speed advantage all in all. Still gives him an edge, of course. But it's just so much better when you have Alexstrasza on the same side. And can capitalize on all of the globes that she's going to spawn for you throughout the course of the game. I'm trying to get a bit more damage done at the top. Take the towers down at least. Open up some of the walls as well so that Stitches has more hook opportunities. And with the camp, they actually have a camp coming in plus a minion wave. So they might be able to do a bit more damage here. But the problem is that Storm Talons are nearly ready for the red team. And the Haka is already waiting on the side. By the way, we talked about skins earlier. That's a proper skin. That is the best Dehaka skin by far. Bumblebee. Yep, not that plush toy monstrosity that we see here from Stitches and which we've seen previously on Dehaka too. Nope, that's a proper one. Whoa. Yeah, okay, Kani. Stop drinking, dude. He saw 2 false stats. He hit the other one full on. Somebody's seeing double here. Kani is sitting in the bush. I think there was a little bit of pressure on him. He's like, oh my god, I gotta do it now. But, yeah. That cooldown went nowhere. False that he didn't barrel roll. He just continued to walk away. Fly away here. There's the APOC. Yeah, nice. They dodged all of it. That's a shit ton of ults that were just used by the red team for absolutely nothing. For absolutely nothing. Not a single kill. Nothing I could do with it. Big minion wave, by the way, at the top keep. Yeah. I mean, they defend it, but that's a little bit of extra damage. Another seed spawning in 20 seconds, and we'll see how the fighters are going to react to this. And more camps taken. More and more camps being claimed by the KD agents. Topside, catapults, plus siege giants are now moving through. And I'm not even sure that the red team really wants to fight here. I guess they don't. There's too many forts close by with fountains, so the position is really annoying for them. And they just let this one slide, which means that it's the second seed for the KD agents. And that, of course, means that the next seed that spawns is automatically gonna get us web weavers for one team or another. For the red team, it would be a comeback. For the blue team, it would maybe be game. They're trying to get close. Yeah, well, they go for Diablo too. Here comes the shockwave. Connects with Mephisto. They nearly got the kill on the Haka, but then they flip it to Diablo. He gets the heal. Wind tunnel disengage as Falstad says, I've had enough of this. Get away. Top side. Yep. Catapults are coming in. Bottom push is also there. And the seed is spawning. And they're looking for the next fight. Diablo is not fully stacked yet. If he dies, he's down for the full duration. And he goes down. Diablo is down. This could be the beginning of the end. There's the hook on Alexstrasza. Alexstrasza is gone. Hogger is about to fall and does. But there's more heroes that are mega low. Mephisto falls. That's 3 down. 3 for 1 trade. And they eliminate Falstad too. That's a 5-man team wipe. Entire team gets murdered. The keep falls. And the core is already under attack. They're gonna take it right here. The KD Agents with a 2-0 lead over the fighters. I am impressed. I'm absolutely impressed. What a performance from the blue team in the series. Very well done. Nicely played. GG. As we're headed for game number 3. Coming up next, we have game number 3 for you guys. Before we go, a big shout out to everybody that is supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. Really appreciate the support, guys. Thank you very, very much. If you want to support the channel, if you want to support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene live with all of the events and tournaments that we're hosting, then please consider to check out patreon.com/Khaldor and support the channel there. It's the best way to support all of the things that we're currently doing for the scene and plan to do in the future. With that being said, enjoy the next game of the series. Alright, the KD Agents with a pretty impressive performance here. I gotta say, I am very pleasantly surprised. I mean, we casted them before, but I did not think that they would play as well today as they're currently doing, and then get that 2-0 advantage over the opponent. So now it's match point. The fighters can still bring this back, and I would say that the team most likely has... I mean, again, they have a lot more experience in top-level play, so you could argue that the longer the series goes, we have some players on their side that have pretty deep hero pools that they can still use, and you have to ask yourself, obviously, are the KD Agents running into hero pool problems at some point? Then again, this is only game 3, so 20 heroes can now not be played again, but that still leaves us with plenty alternatives. Cho'Gall gets banned again. Illidan, they let it go through. So is Illidan something that the fighters are gonna be willing to play on Infernal Shrines? Always, of course, assuming that they were planning to play Illidan in the first place. Samuro gets banned. Let's see what we're gonna get as a first pick for the KD Agents. Clean 2-0. I really like the way that they are playing the series, and yeah, they've done a great job. Game 1 was insanely clean. At that point, you can still tell yourself, alright, the fighters might not have been fully prepared, warmed up, maybe they underestimated them, whatever went wrong, maybe a bad draft didn't work for them, didn't flow. But now, of course, very different situation. Now you have a team that is clearly in control of the series, and it's up to the fighters to break through that. They're going to try and use Sergeant Hammer and Garrosh to make that work. Now up against Blaze now on that side lane. And Sergeant Hammer can, of course, become a big obstacle when played properly on a map like Inferno Shrines. So we'll see if that's going to be enough. But it's also a very early pick into this, so we'll have some counter picks. And there's already Gul'dan, so you have your Horrify that you can play around, but more importantly, lots of wave clear for the Shrine and for the minions too. And Anduin is always a great pick. Not only do you pick Anduin for yourself, you also take Anduin away from the opponent so that we don't get any light bomb engaged, we don't get Sergeant Hammer saved over and over again whenever she gets targeted and attacked. So that's another huge pick actually for the KD Agents. Muradin. We've actually seen this in the previous series that they started to heavily target the frontliners. Now Nubarak is still open. Nubarak, very, very mixed success just in general as a tank these days. Not really your biggest power pick or anything. You could, of course, still go for some kind of variant play. Variant, Taunt, Blaze, Jet Propulsion, Gul'dan damage, and then maybe a bit more. Seems like the KD Agents are still worried about Illidan. Wasn't picked early, so they just were like, alright, whatever. We're gonna ban him third. Which is a bit of a shame. I like to see Illidan games. Usually they're entertaining. But by now we get Deckard Cain, okay. And what are we getting together with him? Zul for even more wave clear. Okay. Alright. There's a lot of CC too, but Zul can really control the side lanes. And that leaves us with the final 2 picks for the KD agents. So, what are we going to get as a main tank? That's probably my biggest question right now, because it really seems that the fighters were targeting the main tank over and over again with their bans in the previous ones. We get Mei and we get Suljin. Okay. Vala is, by the way, still up, but they don't care. They prioritize Suljin over her. And now for our final pick for Kunis, we have an auto attacker obviously also already in play for the fighters. So a little bit more wave clear from them. From range damage would be nice too. Zul can deliver a lot, but he can't be the only one. They go for Thrall. And with that, we're set for match point number 1. The big opportunity for the KD agents to win the series. Let's see on Infernal Shrines if they can pull it off. 2-0. The KD agents in the big lead. Match point number 1 as we got Simply on Mei. McGiblets on Anduin. We got the no-scope Ninja with Suljin. Bone Slicer on level 1. Kani on Blaze. And Aviator on Gul'dan. Over on the right side of the map, we got Itrax on Sergeant Hammer. Machko is playing Garrosh. We got Akunis on Thrall. Aldante on Deckard. And Shikish is playing Zul. So, and off we go. There's a couple of things, by the way, that I really have to clarify here. So there was a question about Anduin a little bit earlier, and that I was actually a little bit too nice to him. Oh, actually, that's a kill. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's that.
And we say bye-bye!
Garrosh is gone, so that was a quick one. That was a quick kill. That was about Anduin. I have nothing against Anduin. I just think that Anduin is a spoiled brat. He is a strong character. He has fantastic abilities. It's great, but he's a spoiled brat, and I blame his childhood for it. And I blame Varian and Anduin's mother, who was clearly Jaina, that Varian had an affair with. And I know that if you follow World of Warcraft, this might be a little bit weird, and you're currently looking at your screen, and you're like, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. That's not what I heard. But that's not the important part. Blizzard is obviously trying to cover this up. This is the truth that Blizzard doesn't want you to know. They are lying to you. They are absolutely lying to you. The Varian files, they exist, they are there. I have seen them, and I can tell you that Varian had an affair with Jaina. Anduin is clearly the product. The two of them abandoned him. I would have abandoned him as well. I mean, it was from the beginning clear that that is just a shitty kid. And that's where all of that stems from. That's where all these problems occurred. Because the two of them weren't faithful, and now, you know, this is just what happens. The Varian files, I would love to show them to you. But I just can't right now. Blizzard is out. They are trying to shut us down. They're trying to silence us. And I'm gonna give you my PayPal or my OnlyFans or like a GoFundMe where you can help me fight the establishment, aka Blizzard. So yeah, and learn the real lore, the real lore of the storm that they're trying to hide from you. So. With Garrosh going down as the first one that they were blowing away here, we now got Siege Tactics on level 4. Sergeant Hammer obviously is going to wait for that mobility later on. We have Consume Souls for Gul'dan. It still pains me a little bit that my boy Suljin doesn't have his endless stacking anymore. That was always a lot of fun to see, but yeah, it is capped at 50 right now, which is kinda annoying. But up at the top, that's where we now have Azul. He's going to rotate later on, especially between the lanes to... Look at that wave clear. Comes in with his scythe and he just goes like... And just kills everything within seconds. So he's the wave clear boy on the side of the fighters. Good for him. But yeah, we have now in the mid lane everybody getting ready for the first objective. Jet propulsion straight into the face of Azul as he says hi. They are going for Mei. She gets flipped around, but not really too impressed. By the way, Thrall did not go for his quest teller on level 4, so decided against it. And at this point, trying to go for Kani here. Already positioned. A jet propulsion connects again. Sergeant Hammer has the problem with Sergeant Hammer. Still not mobile enough, but as long as she's hiding back there and everybody is moving into her space, or Garrosh delivers some throws, she is getting a lot out of it. Not only minion stacks, but also damage against heroes. So this is working actually pretty well for the red team. 19 stacks to 19. And there is a chance now that the blue team does not get this one. As long as level 7 isn't there, this should have been a bit of an advantage for the blue team. But the fighters are playing this pretty smart and are now taking the lead on the Shrine minions. It's a mega close battle. A super close one. 37 to 35, 38, 38 to 38. And who takes it? Who grabs it? Who gets the objective? It is the blue team. They lose Gul'dan, but they get the first Punisher. Arcane Punisher, ladies and gentlemen. So there it is. The damage in the middle, trying to burn that wall down. Blaze is up at the... Ooh, Thrall, careful. Blaze is up at the top. We got Mei down at the bottom of the map, and yeah. What is happening with the Punisher here? He was totally confused. That guy did not know where to go. Left, right, left, left, up. Was there a second head somewhere? Maybe it wasn't Punisher, but it was just like Cho'Gall's cousin or something. But yeah, that one, he completely blanked out there. So yeah. A little bit confused. Anyways, camps are now about to be taken. They didn't even get the wall because of that. If I'm the blue team, I'm a little bit annoyed. But they still got a little bit of damage. They obviously could also attack the auxiliary lanes because everybody needed to defend in the middle. We have now Hover Siege mode for Sergeant Hammer. So that's the next one. They're starting to slide in again to try and go for Garrosh maybe. But there's also a camp at the bottom of the map. Gul'dan with 24 stacks by the way on level 1. So already doing pretty okay here. Could use that little choke point for some extra action, and does. Good damage. Can they steal the camp? And the answer is nope. And they're also losing Mei. But, well, they killed Garrosh, but then a second later they're losing Suljin, so I guess it's still the red team that gets slightly ahead here, and they also have a level 10 ability. Yeah, this is kind of the first game where we're seeing a bit of a lead for the fighters, isn't it? 3 kills to 2. Level 10. Yeah, not shabby. Now the chance to go towards the bot lane and open up that wall, take that gate out. So level 10 on both sides, but this is the first time that we are seeing the red team pulling a little bit ahead here, having a chance to maybe gain some momentum themselves. I mean, at this point the lead isn't all that big, but still, something to work with. Now, no surprises on the ults on the other side. Mei again attack, gets taunted, gets saved by Anduin. Shockwave and BFG are not enough, but the minions take her out. She was at 7 hit points or something, and then all of a sudden that Khaldor camp came just in. So it's like, okay, we got you. Check the hit points out. Keep an eye on the hit points of Mei in that encounter. So Mei is nearly away, and then bam, spear to the face, and that is the end. Oh god. So top side, Zul has been doing some damage. Gul'dan is at 34 stacks, and here comes the next objective. I mean, if the blue team wins this one too, then that would be nice, but right now they are having some troubles. So, we get still Taz Dingo, and we got the ice wall. Yeah, the aggression against Mei over here in the middle. Not that it came to anything, but still, trying this one out at least. And then in the meantime, the shrine is active. Nobody's making a move for it on the blue team yet. It's the red team that takes control. But still, you should probably start fighting for this at least a little bit. Zul isn't even here yet, so he still needs to rotate down. You have an initial lead. They're trying to get a kill on Machko, and they might just be able to get it. Ice wall is in. Yep, there it is. But Gul'dan died too. He dropped his Horrify before he fell, but was caught there. So they're trading orcs at this point. Green orc against red orc. I actually don't know which one is stronger. I mean, they have another orc. This is a little bit unfair because they have 2 orcs. They have a green orc and a red orc. At least when you go after the portraits. But there's a level 13 talent. Suljin is gone. Didn't use his ult either. That's always the problem with Suljin. You want to take the ult late, of course. But if you take it too late, then you're already dead. And then you just can't do anything here. So I guess with Sergeant Hammer being in full control of the shrine space, this is going to be an easy Punisher for the fighters. I'm telling you, they are starting a comeback here in the series. 6 kills to 3 now. And they're not looking too bad. Mei has to also retreat. Apparently still wants to get the experience first. But that also means she needs a little bit more time. And down at the bottom of the map, we have the next fort getting murdered. So, yeah, this one is gone. About as dead as canned Bloodhoof or whatever his face was. And here comes level 13. So it's even talents at least. The KD agents with a bait over the wall. It is a frozen Punisher though, so yeah, it's your inbuilt Sylvanas trait. And he doesn't even go in. Look at this. The keep does not fire. That's actually nuts. I mean, they couldn't get a whole lot more out of it. We're still before the 10-minute mark. But I like that. They baited it just barely over the wall, and the keep didn't even fire. Usually you're trying to isolate them as much as you can. Talking about isolations. Trying to isolate Blaze, and yeah, he just bunkers instantly. Insta bunker from Blaze. Not even hesitating. Thrall gets now killed, and his corpse gets kicked around. Yeah. No respect. No respect for the war chief here. So, kick the corpse. Garrosh is also still moving around here and hoping to eventually create another kill opportunity for the team, but definitely not when they're only playing with 4 heroes, so they're going to wait for the rest. When it comes to the damage output in the game, we now have 27,000 for Sergeant Hammer. Top numbers, but Gul'dan isn't too bad either. Is sitting at 25,000 right now. Next objective is spawning up at the top. Mei gets just thrown around again. Getting ready for the next ice wall in a few seconds, but the level 16 talent, the leading experience for the fighters is increasing. And that 16 is gonna be big. It's also gonna be a pretty big gap. KD agents might have a chance to soak it before the next fight breaks out. There's still some minions to be claimed at the top, in the middle. I guess you could send somebody down to the bottom of the map. They gotta be a bit careful there because they have to move farther out. Thrall is still going for his level 16 Wolf talent, so he still picks Alpha Wolf. But he didn't go for the level 4 talent, so he can't benefit from the cooldown reduction and the mana cost. Instead, he went straight into the mana tide. And Sergeant Hammer, of course, with Giant Killer. Objective hasn't been announced yet, and they only need half a level to level 16, so they're gonna be fine. Trying to go for the turret. Full synergy already. Well, completed quest for Gul'dan is going to have the full synergy with the Ruinous Affliction as soon as he gets to level 16, which is definitely going to be in time for the objective. They also have their Shaman Camp prep. You just need to claim it. And of course ensure that the red team is not sneaking somebody in that they can take it. So they're going to try and time it from the looks of it. So, yeah. And, well, with level 16, we now also got the No Mercy. But more importantly, Cliff of Fate. And Ruinous Affliction. So, those two are going to be important. So, they're going to wait this out a little bit. They need to take it eventually, but, yep, there we go. So, Soldier is starting to come through and take the camp for the team. Blaze still at the bottom of the map. I mean, the last thing that you want to happen is now him rotating a little bit too aggressively and then all of a sudden getting caught. So you have to be careful how you move towards the top of the map now. 12 stacks on the baseline for Suljin. Nothing crazy, but hey. Let's see if we can stack this up a bit now. There's still that level advantage for the fighters. And, of course, here's the lead. At least at the beginning. There's the taunt. Mei gets attacked. Ice blocks. Big damage against Machko. Gets saved, but Gul'dan with some serious plays here. That was a mad combo that he unleashed. And that's, yeah, Garrosh did not like that at all. Can still control the choke point a little bit. Gul'dan trying to find position again. Careful with Garrosh. 21 stacks to 4 now on the Shrine minions. And Gul'dan, yeah, he's still looking okay here. He got big damage out in the last 2 fights. And he's actually closing on Sergeant Hammer. Now the flip. Simply trying to get away. And he's simply dead. Mei gone. Garrosh is able to set up another kill for them, and they eliminate Gul'dan. Anduin is gone too. The Crybaby is dead. So is Zul, but again, he didn't look too great in the first place. He was more dead than alive to begin with, and now it's only 2 survivors, and they might actually lose a few more as Garrosh throws them forward. Thrall misses, and now they can... Wait, the taunt! Where's that kill? He made it! He actually made it! What a boss move. Nobody can kill the no-scope ninja. Completely ignoring, of course, the 2 deaths that he already has. But hey! And topside, Sergeant Hammer is just weaving in one auto attack after another. Insane skill over here as these hits keep coming. Look at that micro that we're seeing. Moves to left, moves to the right. Auto attack, another auto attack. Slight movement and another auto attack. Oh my god. High skill heroes once again in action as Sergeant Hammer just proves how impactful you can be if you just got the mechanics to pull the hero off. Incredible performance here against those minions. That was a deadly situation that the Sergeant found herself in here, but she prevailed. Punisher is taken, moves through the top, and let's go! And let's see how much they can do. They're getting closer and closer to a potential 4th game here. If the blue team can muster a comeback, that would be incredible. If not, then we're going to game number 4. It might take a little bit longer for the fighters, but, well, here we go. This should be at least the key. It's a 5 versus 5 again. Punisher is jumping in. Can they actually take this one? There's the ice wall. Throw. Ooh, that jet propulsion was so close. He could smell the oil of Blaze's armor, but was not hit and not stunned. Next jet propulsion connects. Still not enough. They try to go for May again, and Anduin is there. Bunker 2. I think they're holding on to this for a little bit longer. The problem is really that we now have level 20 talents for the red team and the blue team. They just are not even close to getting that quest that talent. So I'm not quite sure if they're even fighting here. Well, scratch that. Gul'dan is dead. And May is dead too. So Tazdingo has been popped. They're 1 level away from level 20. And that is keep. And now they're going to siege up on the core. The fighters clearly have had enough. They lost 2 games in a row, and now they're going to start their comeback right here, right now. They go for the core, try and work that shield down. It's only 3 defenders, and they got, of course, Sergeant Hammer with the ultra capacitors. We got 47,000 damage on her. The core is slowly falling. 20 seconds until Gul'dan is back. He was the biggest damage dealer on the blue team side anyways, and as long as he's gone, they're not having any problems here. BFG straight to the face of Blaze, but this is game one way or another. The first point on the board for the fighters as they take out the KD agents on Infernal Shrines, and we move on to game number 4. Well, Volskaya Foundry, it is our 4th map, and Cho'Gall gets insta-banned. I like that the fighters put a point on the board. Honestly, when I went into the series, I really had my money put on the red team. I mean, again, they have heavily experienced players. The KD agents are great, but I did not think that they would play as clean as they did, and I was very surprised when they took a 2-0 lead. But the fighters now at least put a point on the board, start the comeback, and the question is, of course, can they get there? Now, to be fair, the one thing that I still want to highlight a little bit, I talked earlier already about that a long series might actually benefit the red team, because I expect that a lot of their players have a deeper hero pool than what we're seeing from the KD agents. Now, that might be totally wrong. It's just something with all of the tournaments that we've seen Itrax, Machko, Akunis, and others play. I would assume that they are going to be a little bit more flexible on that end. But we'll see how this is now working out for the KD agents. It could be a comeback. Vala instantly taken, so we had a quick pick on her. I'm still a little bit salty about this Illidan ban. At this point, they banned Illidan so reliably that I want to see Illidan. Like, Illidan is probably the one pick that I want the most now, just because they tried to get rid of him the entire time. I want to see that Illidan performance. I want to see Illidan in the house here. Nazebo, and we get Leoric. What are they going to do with Vala? Are we going to get a double support and then auto attacks from her? Or are they instead trying a narrow build at this point? again, lot of fight potential to stack an arrow. If you get your opponent to commit to a battle on the objective, of course. Uther, okay, so here we go. We got Uther and we got Yrel. So technically, you could go double support from here on out. Uther doubling as a main tank. For sure an option. They would have to swap things around, but hey, why not? And with it, I mean, with Nazebo taken, clearly the blue team would love a long game. Stack his baseline, get Vile Infection, do your thing. Let Nazebo become that late game monster that we all know he is. And get rid of Muradin. Yeah, they've been targeting tanks all day, every day. It's actually kind of amusing. And now there are less and less tanks around. Imperius has also been played. I mean, Arthur's is still available. I'm actually blanking a little bit. Like, what kind of tanks do we still have available? Arthur's is obviously still up. Inuburak and Muradin are now banned. I would assume that the fighters are now going to pick their own tank first before the blue team can react here. Varian gets banned. They eliminate another one. Yep, he was of course still up. I mean, we talked about him in the last game. But they are limiting the tank pool a lot now. Honestly, that Varian ban makes me believe more and more that we're going to get an Uther main tank. Just makes perfect sense. You already have your tank, so you ban out others. Does that lead to Arthur's? It leads to Arthur's. Arthur's is there. And we're going to get another healer, 100% for the KD agents. For sure. Okay. Double support, Vala, auto attacks. Make it a thing. Stukov, there's our second support. And Tyrael. Oh, okay. So, just double support plus Tyrael too. Tyrael is actually a good point. Totally blanked on him that he's still available. But, yeah, they are really putting all of the eggs into the Vala basket here. Double support with her. And then Zagara on the other side. So, this is going to get interesting. This is going to get really interesting. Volskaya Foundry, a chance for the fighters to force map number 5. And a chance for the KD agents to close out the series and move on to the winner bracket final. So, well, let's jump in and see which team is able to pull it off here. Well, here we are on Volskaya Foundry. Game number 4 and the opportunity for the KD agents to close out the series. Move on to the next round. And over on the right side, the fighters who, of course, would like to avoid dropping into the losers bracket now. We got Simply on Tyrael, Megiblitz on Stukov, Kani on Vala, as expected, auto attack build of course, Aveta on Uther, and the no-scope Ninja on Yrel. Atrax is playing Nazebo, we got Aldante on Malfurion, Machko is playing Arthur, Sakunis on Zagara, and Shikish is playing Leoric. So, let's have a look at how this is gonna play out. Nazebo with Thing of the Deep right now. Okay, so additional spell power for Nazebo at this point, and range increase. So that's the next one as well. And in the meantime, up at the top, Yrel was attempting to be a little bit more annoying, but we're going to keep our eyes on the baseline stacks for Nazebo, and of course the stacks for Vala on level 1, and how many times she dies. So, yeah. But definitely a very, very interesting game at this point. If this goes to game 5, I think some people might run out of heroes. But right now, on level 1, we got Justice for All for Tyrael. Aggression down at the bottom of the map currently. And Thing of the Deep is already moving forward pretty quickly with stacks. But the 4-man is getting aggressive here. You have a lot of sustain, of course. The funny thing is that you don't only have 2 supports behind you. You have the shield from Tyrael too. And I mean, he could go Sanctification with this. Why wouldn't he? Like, all those layers of defense, they are heavily reliant on Vala for the damage. It will be an interesting game for sure. And they are of course going to try and, I don't want to say end it early, but pressure them as much as they can, because they know fully well if Nazebo is able to make it into a late game, with proper stacks for Vital Infection, and then just pops off with damage. Even those two supports might not be able to keep up with him. And then in addition, you of course also have Zagara. So up at the top, Arthur's against Nazibor. And yeah, it's a numbers advantage for the red team. That's why they are suffering at the bottom. But here come our level 4 talents. Zagara coming in with the Envenomed Spines. Top side, the wall barely taken out. So this push at the bottom of the map is a bit more successful for the KD agents as they really aggressively push with the 4-man. Nazeebo has now gone straight into the big voodoo. He's at 46 stacks already, 2.5 minutes in. That's pretty good. So that is absolutely solid for Nazeebo. This is a great start when it comes to stacks. He's also working on Thing of the Deep. There's obviously another big boost on the damage numbers than later on in the game. But yeah, he can definitely do a lot with this. 50 stacks, so he's basically done with roughly a third of the baseline quest before we are even entering the 3-minute mark. So, not bad. But there's a lot that they have to play around with as the game continues. They just want to delay. For the fighters, the longer the game lasts, the better for the fighters. There's an argument to be made, of course, that for Vala it's similar because she can also stack her level 1. But first of all, you have a cap. Second of all, if Vala dies a few times, then she is going to lose some of her power. So the same isn't true from the fighters. The longer this lasts, the better for Nazeebo. He's just going to become unkillable at some point. Good damage at the bottom. Neat. Entire wall already taken out. And Urel is going to have a tough time against these two. So the rotation is coming as Kenny is moving in slowly. They go for Zagara. And she's fine. Yeah, with the help of the conveyor belt at least. Uther wanted to get close enough, couldn't. And he has level 7, which gives us the Dead Rush. So, zombie time. No kill yet. Both of the teams know perfectly well what's on the line here. If you lose this now, from the perspective of the blue team, then you all of a sudden have to go to game number 5. And keep in mind, the winner of this plays in the next round in the winner bracket finals. So you have an interest to close out the series without having to go for a full 5-mapper. And the KD agents, if they lose here, I'm not so sure if they can recover and win the next map too. It's pretty brutal if you're 2-0 ahead and then all of a sudden it comes down to the last map. Just mentally resetting and refocusing onto the final map then can be pretty tricky. And as I said, I personally think that a long match would benefit the red team in the first place. So Zagara and Leo are still doing damage at the bottom of the map, and by now Urel has taken so much damage herself that she just can't do a whole lot about it. The rotation is coming though. And this time, Zagara is in trouble. Tries to get away. No way. Okay, she dies. For a second, I thought, nah, she can't escape here. But Vala, no! And Uther! And Stukov! Uh-oh! That is a problem. Yeah, they just lost 2 heroes. Stukov made it out after it looked like he might fall as well. But Vala is now in trouble. Well, not in trouble, but she lost 5% of the attack bonus speed. Attack speed bonus, and Nazeebo is not only nearly done with his level 1, but he is more than halfway done with his baseline. He's at 100 stacks, 5 minutes in. We're not even at level 10 yet, and they're already looking good. I don't know, guys. The KD agents, they started this off with an absolute banger, with 2 clean games, but I'm starting to be a bit worried for them here. This is certainly looking like we might see a comeback. Nazeebo, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to. We got Cindergosa for Arthur's. Devouring Maw is in. Entomb. And Nazeebo is looking great. 120 stacks. He is going to hit this 100%. And he is, of course, going to build this up further and further and further with his trade. So yeah, this is looking like it could be a tricky late game for the blue team. So right now, the attacks here, they're still coming. There is Judgment, and can they get the kill? They're looking for Nazeebo. He has no mana, by the way. But they can't get that kill. Instead, they have to retreat from the point once again. We have Vala now on 59 stacks. 3 kills in total. Leo's coming in. Overtime has started. Big shove against Leo. Could drop the Entomb. Doesn't quite find the target yet. That hits them hard. Finds both of the supports. They find both of them. McGiblis is about to go out. He couldn't follow up with a kill here. This is actually... If I'm Leo, I'm a little bit disappointed. That was not bad. He hit both of the supports, isolated the two of them. If they can get kills there, and it's glorious for them. So much stuff, by the way, just running after Urel. You got frogs, you got spiders, there's a couple of zombies. Like, everything is just, like, running from the Zebo. And then on top of that, a bunch of cockroaches from Zagara. So it looks like they're going to get the objective now. And, yep, Protector number 1 ends up in the hands of the fighters. They are looking really good. Guys, the fighters are starting to take a bit of control here. Now, of course, all of this is very early. You look at the stats and you're like, yeah, they're half a level ahead. Taking the first objective. But the problem is simply that they are getting damage done at the bottom of the map. They are stacking Nazebo, which is their trump card in the late game, like there's no tomorrow. And this is becoming problematic. They just lost the fort in the middle of the map, the blue team. At the top, they've also taken damage here. Nazebo is still playing this out a bit, but I suppose he's going to die now. Zagara died at the bottom of the map, and Itrax stayed too long. So, here's our 2 kills. We still had Tyrael die after killing Zagara, so they traded at the bottom of the map. Killing Nazebo definitely helps. Normally I would say, well, one way to destroy his stacks. But the problem with him is obviously that he's already at 143. You're not gonna stop him from finishing it. That is not happening. And then in the middle, the blue team is now trying to get a bit more aggressive around this. The one thing they could, of course, still do is try to end the game before level 20. Good luck with that. But hey, if that happens, then not shabby. Atrax is gonna have some fun here. We now have Tempered by Discipline. After, on level 7, we got Hot Pursuit. Virulent Reaction. Also available for them now. And Arthas is nearly done with his Frozen Tempest on level 4. So they go for the top again. Urel gets hit. Leo dies at the bottom and Urel has to pop her ult. Big cooldown burn. 2-minute cooldown that she had to use here. And they're getting more damage in on that fort. And this one's gone. Nice. Well done. So the fort eliminated. Fort already gone. 13 on both sides. Zagara a bit low, but completes her quest. Level 7 is now done for her. And where's the damage actually? Vala also with good stacks. She's nearly at 140 now. We have her with 27,000 damage, but Zagara is ahead of her, and Nazebo is not too far behind either. He's at 25,000. They get the Entomb on Vala. There's the Maw. Nice! Syndragosa! And Vala is dead. What a beautiful combo to take her out. The Divine Shield came out, but Vala was already dead. Now Uther dies for hitting the wrong target with it. And the red team is on an absolute tear right now. Yeah, there came the play. And Uther was obviously still in the Maw. Vala died too quickly. The Divine Shield came out anyways. And now we have a 1-level lead for the fighters. And, well, that might even be the top side keep. Look how much stuff they can spawn here. Ridiculous. Zagara and Nazebo in tandem are just spawning an entire army here. It's crazy. Topside keep already at 50% of its HP. Nazebo at 164 stacks on the baseline. Vala's gonna get a quest reward in a second. But it doesn't really change the fact that Nazebo, if he makes... Again, like, he's done. Nazebo's done. His quest is done. He needs one more, but who cares? Doesn't matter. He's gonna get that 100%. He has the Ring of Poison right now. We have the Remorseless Winter. Level 4 quest is also completed. And if they make it to level 20, it's gonna be crazy. And obviously, Itrax is just continuing to stack. He's not stopping here. He just keeps stacking. So, yeah, he gets more health, he gets more mana, he's gonna get harder and harder to kill. At the 11-minute mark, he's at 180 stacks. Even if he slows down, doesn't matter. So, right now, the blue team, they are starting to feel this. I can pretty much guarantee that to you. They're just sitting there and they're already in their head. They're like, uh-oh, this could get bad. To be fair, it's 4 kills to 5. Judgment could be a nice start if they can focus on, let's say, Zagara. Nazeebo's going to be tricky because he has obviously his level 13 talent that he can activate. But Manticore is another big tool in the tool belt for Vala that she can now use. She lost 10% of the attack speed. It's annoying, but it's not killing the game for you. She's still at 30,000 damage. Same numbers that Nazeebo brings in. But Zagara, she's the top dog. And Leo is also, by the way, getting a lot of damage out there with his drains, his swings. He's currently at 25,000. So yeah, pretty good for him. Machko is moving back down. They try to go for Urel. Can't quite. Could drop the Entomb, honestly. And does. Cooldown was already used. Here's Syndragosa again. And they can't get the kill. The ult has already been utilized by Urel, and she's able to get out. Judgment. Ice blocked by Nazeebo. Exactly as you would expect. Now Tyrael has to back off. Nice little engage there. Pretty good dodge also by Uther as he makes sure that the zombie wall does not become too big of a problem for him. Nazeebo, by the way, on more than 200 stacks now, so I'm telling you, he is crushing it. They have a 1.5 lead over the opponent, and the blue team realizes they have to start fighting. And they're looking for that battle. They go for Arthas. The triple more from Zagara. Can they follow up? There's the Howling Blast. Tyrael is already dead. Big shove. And yeah, the damage wasn't there. Damage wasn't there for them, but Tyrael is still gone. So that's a win. The Protector is up. We're still talking about the second Protector, by the way, at the top lane. So yeah, that's still a thing. And Nazeebo is already moved towards the middle. Now rotating back down to the bottom of the map as they're trying to trap them. Maybe get some damage here on the fort as well. Keep in mind, the topside fort is already on 50% of its HP. Yeah. Look, Toads come out. They're trying again for Zagara. Totally fine so far. Finds herself on 3 pretty quickly. But here comes the attack with Gary, the Gargantuan. Vala gets a little bit of her hit points back. She was in trouble initially. Now coming back into the fight. Tranquility has already been used. They're saving everything. Nazeebo, a little bit low, gets the heals. They're trying to go for Urel again. Here comes Judgment. This time they didn't ice block it, and they get the kill. The problem is that in the meantime, the top keep has been destroyed by Leo. Leo escorted it through and just went for the kill with the team. Now everybody else on the red team is trying to rush away here while the blue team is chasing, hoping for a second kill, but they can't get one. And yeah, this is bad. Nazeebo on 20 now. They're trying to get some value at the bottom of the map, and I suppose they could try and get that fort here. But with level 20 talents, we now have absolute 0. And you have 3 guesses what Nazeebo is now going to pick as his 20 talent. Exactly. Gonna get Viral Infection here. Where's his damage right now? At 50,000. Okay, so Nazeebo's at 50,000, and to put this into context, Zagara, let's be generous here, she's at 70,000. That's the difference. So now let's see how the next few team fights go, if we have a couple, and how Nazeebo is going to perform from here on out on the damage numbers. Shout out to Akunis, by the way. That's some serious numbers that he brings out here with Zagara. Like, I mean, crazy. So there it is. Viral Infection is in. And that damage increase is going to be nasty. Absolutely nasty in long fights now. But... and he has the extra range, obviously, with the level 1 talent as well. That extra spell power here, too. So, yeah, the fighters are doing everything that they can. Absolute 0 into the Entomb, into damage from Nazeebo. And there's the double kill. Easy double kill. The more on Urel. The keep is gone. That's the second keep that gets eliminated. And they can simply go for the core here. So, yeah. Nazeebo doesn't get too much value. I mean, I guess the value against structure, so obviously that's where it's also effective. But that is game 5. We are going the distance, ladies and gentlemen. It is a reverse sweep attempt as we have the fighters move on to the next game. They're getting a couple of kills here. Zagara is dead. Catapults are already on the core, and all they got to do is unleash a few more combos with Nazeebo, and they're going to be fine here. 10 kills to 6, and yeah, we're going the distance. Final map coming up between the KD agents and the fighters as they take Volskaya Foundry. Nicely done, GG, and well played. played as the red team takes the map. Map number 5. Well, here we are. We are actually going the distance. This is the one thing that I was a little bit worried for the KD agents, and honestly, maybe I was right. In game number 4 at least, it looked a lot... They looked a little bit more trouble. They weren't nearly as clean as they were in the previous first and second game, where they, you know, could like dig deep into the hero pool and really pick preference picks for themselves. So right now, do they have the hero pool to just play this one out? Alarak gets banned on Battlefield, so Illidan is technically up, but the map choice was made also by the fighters. It's super interesting how this is playing out now, though. I said from the beginning that I think a long series would be good for the fighters, and so far this seems to hold true. But now, of course, with just simply one win, the KD agents can still clench out the series and then move on to the winner bracket final. So Ana gets banned, Maiev gets banned too. We have 40 heroes that are now unavailable, 6 banned during the draft, which means that roughly half of the hero pool is eliminated. Tanks, I would have said, is what might be the most problematic, but there's still a Nubarak available, to just name one example. So they banned some tanks out earlier, which in this case have not been addressed in the ban pattern. So you still have a few frontliners that you can try and lock in, and might have to lock in early, but they go for a Li Ming pick. And I would expect, didn't Varian get banned too? This could be a Varian pick right now. It would be kind of funny if they would go for some kind of like Varian plus an Uberak, just pick the front line away, play Varian with Smash as a side laner for damage, and go for maybe a triple frontliner. It would be kind of amusing if they played around this, but they go for Nubarak and they go for Artanis. Now, I'm a big Artanis hater. I'm actually not an Artanis hater. I like Artanis. I just think that Artanis is insanely weak and is a liability and normally just useless. But that is always in context with other heroes being available that are just stronger than him and should therefore be picked if your goal is to win the game. Game number 5, I'm telling you, Artanis looks a lot better. That's a lot of side laners gone. A lot of them. We had multiple triple frontline plays. That's a lot of side laners that have been eliminated now. So Artanis in that context looks a lot better. Chen gets played too. Murden gets banned. Oh yes, Murden was an option as well, of course. Yeah, then you still have Varian available now, I suppose. But Tyrande plus Li Ming and Varian is open, so Varian could now be picked. And Varian Tyrande is not bad. So that's another one that they could choose. Honestly, they were in a spot where no matter what gets banned, if Varian gets banned, they pick Murden. If Murden gets banned, they pick Varian. So Tyrande will have an opening there, and then Li Ming can follow up with damage on it. Let's see how Artanis is going to do in this game too. And for damage, I mean, Jimmy's up. If you wanted, you could just play Jimmy. Exterminator level 1. You can go straight for Battlefield here. There's Jimmy. Alright. And we get Oriel. Oriel for the heals. Frontline and Uberak Artanis. We get Reyna. What's the final pick for them? Isn't Hanzo still up? No, Hanzo was played, right? Didn't we have Alderac Pass? Yeah, Alderac Pass was a map and Hanzo was played. Yeah, okay. I think this was a series. Not that I mix up series right now, but yeah, I think Hanzo was played already. So, Tychus. And there's Varian. Yeah, Varian again was a bit of a given. Akunis, the final one to pick. And we get Medivh. Oh yeah, it is on, baby. Game number 5, Battlefield of Eternity, the final map. Who stays in the winner bracket, who drops down into the losers bracket? We're going to find out right now. Didn't really think we would get here, but here we are. Map number 5, and on the left in blue, the KD agents, initially with a 2-0 lead, and now they have to play it out on the final map. We got Aviator on Tychus, Simply on Varian. Kratodel is playing Chen for the team. We got McGiblets on Tyrande and Kani on Li Ming. Over on the right side of the map, it is the fighters with Atrax on Reyna. Machko on Anubarak. We got Shikish on Artanis with the amateur opponent on level 1. Aldante on Oriel, and Akunis is playing Medivh. So, all about protecting Jimmy, I suppose. Yeah, is Jimmy going to be enough damage? That's something we're going to find out. I can already tell you that he is a good target, though. It's instantly attacked here, and also some nice stun connects from Tyrande as this all starts up. So, yeah, good for her. All the way top side, we have a 2v1, and Artanis already with a swap. The problem is that only hurt him, basically, and not the opponent. The one thing that's also pretty important is that we're now having a 4-man pushing for the structures at the bottom of the map, and with Medivh, they can always, or should always, be able to safeguard heroes that are sitting there as well. Get the portal out, get the shield out, bring them back to safety. Medivh himself, of course, also trying to stack now for his Arcane Rift. But, yeah, not too bad. All the way at the top. Still our little push. And once again, the swaps right now don't really do anything for Artanis. He's still getting absolutely murdered on that wall anyway. So, that gate is already down. And the problem still is, there were other side laners available. Artanis looks better now in the context of how many heroes were already out. But there were alternatives. I mean, if nothing else, they were the ones who had a chance to go for Jet, you know? So, there's that. But anyways, we'll see how much of an impact he's going to have. Obviously, once that the Immortal is up, they now have 2 tools that they can use to take the opponent out. This time it's actually Machko that pauses the game. So it's the red team that might have a bit of a problem here. We had similar situations happening earlier. But now is this... Are they going to be able to... well, stabilize the internet or whatever the cause was. Either way, it's 15 stacks now for Medivh. And honestly, this is... I hope nobody drops. Or at least if they do, that they can reconnect. Because we are going to game number 5. We are in game number 5. And I want to see who takes it. For now, the KD agents are doing a lot of damage up at the top. But with, first of all, amateur opponent. And then also on top of it, exterminator. I really hope that we're gonna have them just push aggressively for the objective once that the first Immortal is up on the map. So apparently just a little bit of a lag issue, but everything already solved. And now time for some camps to be claimed. I mean, we're past the 1 minute mark obviously already for a while, but now that they have the situation under control at the bot lane and a chance to go for this, they're taking it. They prioritize dropping the wall first. And now they can still pressure. But at the top, the same is happening. And if you want to argue the point, then I suppose we're having currently a better situation at the top side for the blue team than we're seeing for the fighters at the bottom of the map. Here, 4 damage has already been done. And at the bottom of the map, they're still holding on strong to it. So, not a problem for them. Level 4 gives us Taunt. So, that's going to be big for the fights here. We have the repeated offense. And... oh yeah, punish me, Oriel. I've been a bad boy. Yeah, you know it. Elun's chosen. And, well, over here, the bigger they are, as the first objective pops up. And I want to see what now Artanis and Jimmy can do. Double StarCraft. Gimme that action against the Immortal. And burn that thing to the ground. Because I don't think that anybody on the right side can hold a candle to that. Li Ming is usually nice for this, but it's more of the poke. Oh yeah, well, that's not how you want this to start. The insta-taunt against Jimmy. But okay, they're starting to come in. The defense is on, and they're trying their best here. As Chen is making a play, but that's kill number 1 in the game. The blue team loses Tychus, and now they can go for the Immortal, but... well, the KD agents aren't done yet. Yeah, they started to go for a kill, but couldn't. But the halftime show is now won. And there are, of course, still 2 camps on the map. Up at the top lane, Shaman camp for the red team, doing some damage here. And Artanis is now dealing with this at the bottom of the map together with the Nubarak, which just spawns a couple of beetles to delay things. And here it's a race. Jimmy, burning that bad boy down. And they're gonna have solid halftime show here. Artanis comes in, helps out too. That is 7,800 hit points left on the shield. That's not bad. That's a very nice start into things. where you might even walk away with a fort. Bit unlikely. They're gonna take the wall out. That is a given. But maybe they can do a little bit more because they're also close to level 7, so that would give them a talent advantage. Suffice it to say that for now, in game number 5, the red team has taken a lead. So the fighters are starting to take the advantage here, and that is bad news for the KD agents. They've been dominant. And like, game 1 was insane. Mega clean. Game 2, super well played too, and a well-deserved victory for the blue team. And then things started to slowly fall apart a little bit, but never too much. It was always a nice back and forth. Now, on the other hand, we have the fort at the top destroyed. Quest completed for Medivh. That's a very early quest, before the 5-minute mark. And there's Li Ming. Now they go for Tychus. It's a double kill. Yeah, and that's a 1-level lead. That's the first fort destroyed, and the KD agents are in danger of dropping into the lower bracket. It seems like there's an actual opportunity for the fighters to make a full reverse sweep happen here. I mean, full reverse sweep. They're ignoring Chen more or less for now. He got some damage in on the fort. Khaldor has been forced to also pop his fountain, and he's still losing hit points here. He needs to be mega careful. He's becoming the punching bag of particularly Reyna. Another camp at the bottom of the map that they're going to try and aim for. More stuns are coming out, and they're able to take it. This entire setup with Varian looking for taunts and Li Ming following up on it doesn't really work at this point. So, as is, we now have still a 1-level lead. Manubara gets protected by Medivh, and the fighters are pushing. They know that they have an advantage here, and they are just ruthlessly exploiting it. Being more and more aggressive, trying to push for that fort. It's a 5 versus 4 at the bottom of the map, with Chen trying to get experience for the blue team at the top lane. But it's starting to be a bit tricky. Megiblitz is eating damage from Jimmy. There's the swap attempt. The Nubrak dives, and they take Tyrande out. There's the swap. Jimmy survives. Artanis is moving away too. They got another kill, and this brings them closer to level 10, of course, as well. Instantly, the attack from Jimmy and from Artanis, and they're burning this one down mega fast. 10 isn't quite there yet. Maybe a kill on Nubarak. Nope, the shield from Medivh is enough for them to handle the situation. And as they are about to win the halftime show, level 10 is going to kick in soon. And by the way, this at the top is still pressuring. So Chen needs to deal with this, and does. But now that we have heroic abilities for the fighters, they're going to get the rest of the Immortal for free. Yeah, that Immortal is... Oh, that's going to be 100% on the shield, isn't it? Or nearly 100. They're burning this down so quickly. There's nothing that can be done on the other side. Cocoon on Tyrande. But the Immortal is now claimed, and that is a 20,000 hit point shield right now. So, yep. 4 kills to 0, and this is a huge opportunity for the fighters. They're gonna take down the fort at the bottom of the map with ease, and look at the blue team. They're a little bit desperate now. They want the kill. They're going to the top. Disintegrate, initially chosen to burn down the Cocoon. Now they go at least for Artanis. They get the kill, but they've already lost their bottom fort, and now it is all about the keep. And instantly, the Hyperion being used by Jimmy as they're trying to pressure, as they're trying to push, as they're trying to be aggressive here. Level 10 abilities now on both sides, of course. That gives them an opportunity. It's a 5 versus 4, and thanks to that being a 5 versus 4, they have a chance to take down the Immortal. And to be honest, that is a pretty decent defense. Killing Artanis at the top, I mean, who else would they kill? They go for the weak link, of course. Killing Artanis, they are able to protect their keep. The fort was basically lost anyways already. Had no hit points left. But there comes the quick Cocoon. I love how Li Ming doesn't even care. Okay, finally, there's the disintegrate. They get the taunt out. Tigers is trying to move after them. There's the kick. Can they isolate anyone? Leyline already used. But it looks dicey. The portal is up, and Medivh is able to move through before they can lock him down here. But with 2 forts lost and hit points at the keeps also eliminated, this is another big issue that somehow has to be dealt with by the KD agents. Can they make a comeback here? They are clearly on the back foot now. With a good team fight, though, they might be able to win it. We have top damage in the game for Tigers, 27,000. 26,000 for Jimmy. The 2 StarCraft characters going toe-to-toe. And Jimmy is also claiming another camp at the bottom of the map. He's, by the way, leading in siege damage too. So he's not only putting in really good numbers on hero damage, but siege damage is another big one for him. The swap from Artanis. They try to go for Turan again. Tigers is also low. And they swap to Tigers and they drop him like a hot potato. Tigers is gone. The chase is on. They want more. But Machko on a Nubarak moves out. Re-engages with a stun. Tries to go for Varian. They're trying to drop him here. And he's able to move away. Li Ming? She might not be so lucky that she gets stunned instantly after dropping out of the cocoon. So that's her gone. Yeah, Varian had a bit of a death wish here. Varian is dead as well. 7 kills, 2-1. It's bad. It's bad for the KD agents. I honestly think at this point their spirit is just broken. Level 13 is available too, and they're losing way too much ground. Here comes Odin. They're trying to survive through it somehow, but the core is already falling, and it's falling quickly. 7 kills to 1. Seems like they might end the game here. What a performance from the KD agents, but the big, big reverse sweep coming from the fighters as they move on to the winner bracket final, and they drop the KD agents down into the losers bracket. GG.